Hello and welcome to another match from the Sakura Spring Championship in the Shogun 2 section. This is a round 2 match played between StupidBoi in red and Chaos Blade in black and green. In round 1, StupidBoi did beat Prussian General by a score of 2-1, and Chaos Blade did beat Strategy Master by a score of 2-0. And I might, at some later stage of the tournament, also recast some of the matches from the earlier rounds that I skipped over, just FYI. But now I'm glad to cast this match, which I think is going to be very interesting. I haven't watched this one before, but I'm quite curious as to the direction in which it goes. And it looks like we are yet again on Kanto Plains, which is Chaos Blade's pick. Safe to say, probably one of, if not the favorite map of Chaos Blade, because he appears to pick it every single time. And both players also opted to go for a sword infantry core here. So very similar approach. We do have a sword dojo next to an archery dojo. Both players obviously focusing on the sword dojo, which would give a huge boost to both armies. And StupidBoi has brought a, at this point, quite familiar setup in the tournament with 4 Lone Sword Ashigaru with Banzai. A couple more Yari Ashigaru in front as cover with different levels, 4, 4, and 5. And 2 Matchlock Ashigaru on rank 5, both with extended range. On the very left side, he has a Nagi attendant, probably looking to capture the archery dojo at some later point. And Kev-wise, he did invest quite a lot of Koku in his cavalry. So there's a fire cavalry rank 8, a Spears of Shizugatake, which alone costs 1300, a Yarikav vanilla, interestingly, another Yarikav vanilla, and a Yarikav rank 3. His general is a melee general. Very cool to see. You don't see it too often in vanilla these days. And for Chaos Blade, he has a core of Nodachi. So he's kind of an old school player who prefers Nodachi over Lone Swords. 4 of those on rank 2, protected by Nagi attendants. So basically same general idea, but a different approach in pursuing that strategy. So Lone Ash and Yari Ash versus Nodachi and Nagi attendants. And cavalry-wise, he has a Great Guard, rank 6 even. I think this might be somewhat in the same price range as the Spears of Shizugatake. With the Light Cav, I suspect he has the same on the right. Oh, yes, both Great Guards on the left side, okay. But the other one is on rank 2. Sorry. And coupled with another Light Cav, and on the right side, 2 more Yari Cav rank 2, so very strong Cav contingent as well. I would say, despite these huge investments made by StupidBoi into this Fire Cav and this piece of Shizugatake, this is even an advantage for Chaos Blade, Cav-wise. And then on the right side, a Nagi Warrior Monk rank 5 and the Yari Sam rank 6 on the left. His general is a leadership gen with 26 attack. So same attack as the melee gen for StupidBoi. No matchlocks, obviously. That's kind of the elephant in the room. That's the big difference here. And StupidBoi really does have to make these matchlocks count, because that's kind of the only edge he has here. Sword-wise, I think this is quite equal. Obviously, Lone Swords being a bit more iffy in terms of morale compared to Nodachi. But if morale isn't an issue, then they are definitely stronger than these Nodachi. But 3 morale, that seems a bit excessive in the negative sense. Some of these have 4, some of these have 3. I think he leveled them to a different, in a different manner, compared with Nodachi, which have 11 morale here for Chaos. Of course, also boosted by the leadership general, but that's a huge difference. I mean, if you just look at these units, I mean, if a unit just brushes it or something, or touches some of these models from behind, they will begin wavering instantly, I suspect. So very risky choice with a melee general. I think Ashigaru builds always need a leadership general, or otherwise they're too unstable. But we'll see. Chaos Blade, which he always likes to do, being very aggressive here, sacrificing a cavalry, or at least risking a cavalry to get into these matchlocks very early on. And the plan with these kind of moves is just to disrupt the positioning of the opponent and to enable these infantry units to have a clean follow-up and to get a nice charge. So he lost half of his Yarikav, rank 2 here. But if these Nodachi get a clean charge and some of these units already wavering, then it will be well worth it, I think. The other side, I think one of the effects of these scav charges is also that StupidBoi is quite distracted and missing a couple of things here. So these Yarisam got a nice charge into this cavalry, which isn't reacting, or at least not reacting soon enough. StupidBoi trying to pull away, but both of his Yarikav and parts of his general being caught here. This is unraveling really fast here. StupidBoi managing to support his right side with his fire calf, with his lone swords charging into the back of the Yarisams. But I suspect these missed charges, especially on the melee general, which should in theory be a huge asset in the calf fight, is quite devastating from his perspective. Tripping over words again. And yeah, at the same time, in the center, it looks like StupidBoi's Yariash got a bit overwhelmed. Let's see if there was a sword Ashigaru in the mix, but it looks like these spear units, also only on 3 morale, were quite overwhelmed. And there seems to be a mass rout happening now. And it looks really bleak from a StupidBoi's perspective. Some of these units on the left activating Banzai, so they will hold on for a good while. Yeah, StupidBoi really has to hold on to his units here. I mean, all these units with lots of men left, they will definitely come back at a later point, so this is not lost yet. But StupidBoi has to give his units time to reorder and reorganize, and part of that process definitely has to be killing off Chaos Blade's cavalry, but because this cavalry could just hunt down all these routing units and make sure that they don't come back. So obviously preference or priority for StupidBoi has to be Chaos Blade's cavalry. Let's have a look at this cav fight. Great Guard against Spears of Shizugatake. And Fire Cav, I think this Great Guard will lose in the long term. And at the same time, Great Guard 30 men with 26 attack against the General of StupidBoi, which also now it has 29 attack. Interesting. I thought it had 26 before. Oh no, that's why the reason is that he inspired himself. That's why he got the melee attack boost. But either way, this general is going to die, I think. Let's see. This is kind of difficult to detect with the trees. Still 28 Great Guard. So if the Great Guard stays in the fight for a little bit longer, I think StupidBoi's general is in big trouble. And at the same time, I mean, this is super interesting. Just looking at this from above, it looks like the game is already over. But the power bar is still on 50-50, and that's because I think the game engine doesn't differentiate between units routing and units still being in fight in the fight. I think they just count the number of models that are potentially in the fight, including routing units. So Chaos Blade really has to make sure that he's chasing off all these units So even attendance can be quite useful here for that purpose, to make sure that they don't come back, or if they come back, that they will get thrown right back into a fight where they cannot win. So this is a very interesting development. You don't see this too often, but of course this is all due to the fact that StupidBoi's general doesn't have increased army morale. So all of these Ashigaru units are super weak. It looks like StupidBoi now managed to save his general with 3 men, but I think if this once this Inspire ability expires, I think this general will rout off. So StupidBoi now at least achieved his aim of getting rid of Chaos Blade's cavalry, but it looks like the routing units finally got caught here by Chaos Blade. Especially these Nagi monks are super efficient in these kind of situations because they're very fast. And it looks like some of these units got shattered. Yari Ash not coming back, and yeah, I think at this point, StupidBoi realized that just with the amount of cavalry that he had left, he wasn't gonna really threaten Chaos Blade's remaining spear infantry. So the Yari Sam and the Nagi warrior monks still on the field, who of course aren't threatened by cavalry. So was a reasonable call in the end to forfeit. Not forfeit, but to concede the match. But still very interesting. It was very quick. Most of it was on reduced speed, and it was still a rather quick battle. But I think interesting in a way that it showcases some of the weaknesses of the leadership general. Yes, there were also some micromanagement mistakes. The cavalry got caught multiple times from StupidBoi. Had he been a bit faster in that regard, I think he would have had more chances killing off Chaos Blade's cavalry much earlier. But when it comes to the infantry corps, I don't think he could have done really that much more, because morale-wise he was just outclassed, and he would have had to pop banzais super early on all of his lone swords. And in this context, I think the Nodachi were just superior. So yeah, lots of high-performing Nodachi for Chaos Blade. No surprise here. And yeah, the lone swords didn't really have the ability to kill that much because they didn't stay in the fight for long enough. Matchlocks, I mean, we didn't spend too much time watching them, but I think it was pretty apparent what happened. I think both of these units got at most one volley off, and then they either got caught by cavalry or just were caught in the mass rout. So this is money that could have been spent somewhere else, for example on the Yariki, because he had 2 Yariki on vanilla, which only had 5 attack, and that's just not good enough. I think even Light Cav, when you have a cavalry retainer plus 2 attack, even Light Cav has more attack than Yari Cav vanilla. I think there he could have invested a little bit more of his funds that he allocated to the matchlocks. But of course, there are also different ways of playing this game and this map. You can play matchlock builds. I'm not saying you should ditch them and go full sword or full cav, but it just needs a little bit more balance in the morale department, I think. So very interesting first match, and I think I'll make a cut here and just hop straight into game 2. And we're back on Alpine Ridge. With a sword dojo and a shrine, forcing both players to make a decision on which of these dojos to prioritize, which is always, I think, healthy for the overall gameplay. Looks like both players are favoring the sword dojo, which is also something I would recommend. Build-wise, Chaos Blade's pick is running counter to kind of what I was saying in the last battle, because now he does bring a core of Lone Sword Ashigaru himself, So he has brought 4 of them on Banzai. Then he also has 2 more vanilla Yari Ashigaru, a long Yari Ashigaru rank 5. He has a Daikyu Samurai, 200 range, and 3 matchlock Ashigaru, 2 of them with extended range. Calf-wise, he has 2 heavy calf, fire calf rank 6, and a Yari calf rank 6, and 2 light calf. His general is an unchanged leadership gen. StupidBoi is positioning somewhat more centrally. Looks like he's reluctantly also favoring the sword dojo, but being less committed overall. So his right side is kind of or is poised to engage Chaos Blade somewhat earlier than the center, which is still a bit reserved here. And he has brought also 200 range bow, Daikyu rank 7, a Matchlock Ash rank 5 extended range, which is taking a lot of damage here, and which is, I think, positioned a bit too narrowly here. He also brought 4 heavy swords, so 3 lone swords with Banzai and a Waco Raider rank 9 with Banzai, so very strong unit here. Calf-wise, he also has, he has 3 heavy calf, so 3 Yari calf and a light calf. And then, aside from his swords, he also brought a bunch of Yari Ash and the long Yari. So this is kind of interesting in the sense that both players have a very similar idea of what they brought here. And this is kind of atypical because on Alpine Ridge you can basically do anything. This is a map where everything kind of works, and it doesn't force you to play a particular style, which makes it even more interesting that both have almost the same idea as to what they were going to do this battle, with the slight difference that Chaos Blade has just 1 more skirmish unit. So it's 200 range Daikyu versus 200 range Daikyu, and they're already firing at each other, kind of trading arrows. But Chaos Blade has 1 more matchlock, and I think this 1 additional skirmish unit is kind of a big factor because its marginal utility is quite high, because you're kind of forcing your enemy out of his comfort zone by bringing that just 1 extra unit. In this case, forcing StupidBoi to be probably more aggressive than he intends to do with so many Yari Ash units. So this is always very interesting to see when both players have a similar style of army that they bring, but one just goes a little bit further than the other, then that can be a huge advantage. Also, when like a sword rush player plays against a different sword rush, and he just brought like 1 more sword unit, like 5 versus 4, like we saw C4 versus Prussian Prince, or 1 more spear unit, or in this case 1 more skirmish unit. I think the marginal utility of that 1 additional unit is much higher than it otherwise would be. Now here I made a quick cut in the replay just to reload the engagement of this Waco Raider, because it, as you can see here, it does take a significant amount of damage just before connecting. Matchlock Ashigaru, 30 kills already. Nice block and counter charge from Nagi Tendons and Light Calf to do additional damage to these Waco Raiders. And this unit is kind of a lone rider right now, already popped Banzai, not really supported by the rest of StupidBoi's army, which is still not angled properly to face Chaos Blade's army. It looks like everything is lagging a little bit behind in terms of movement, and I think this unit, being as expensive and as important as it is, needed more protection and support before going in here. Also, just to absorb some of the bullets from the matchlocks. So they went in kind of raw here with no tendons to support them. At the same time, looks like Light Calf was routed in and around the shrine, with the Yari Ash now having a free path towards capturing it. So in about a minute or so, Chaos Blade will receive a huge morale boost. At the same time, nice maneuver by StupidBoi, cleaning up this Matchlock Ash, giving him the opportunity to also charge into the back of Chaos Blade's Lone Swords, who popped Inspire on the unit, now popping Banzai to strengthen his left flank, which will buy him a couple more seconds here. But overall, I think Chaos Blade can be quite happy here. Now, in the meantime, StupidBoi decided it's time to move across the hilltop, get his Yari Ashigaru into position, and this is just what I mentioned before. This is not something that comes natural to Yari Ashigaru, having to be this aggressive, and this is just within the comfort zone of Chaos Blade, whose skirmish units now will be even more effective, will even have more targets to pick and choose from. And I think these Yari Ash, although in Spear Wall, are also not properly turned in the right direction. And here at this point, the battle kind of unravels from. And here I made another quick cut because I just noticed that there's an almost full strength Yari Cav from StupidBoi left, which, yes, for one could have protected these Daikyu Sams and intercept the cavalry, but in general, which kind of hasn't contributed too much. I mean, it charged in here a couple of times, but from an angle that meant that he charged the back of his own unit. So you could say that this Yarikav rank 3 was a bit underutilized. And usually cavalry, like in an ideal sense, even if you're winning, shouldn't survive for too long because it's kind of the type of unit that you throw in first. You try to make things happen. So it's kind of odd to see this late in the game where it's kind of already over. To see this heavy calf at full strength underutilized. This is still a relatively minor factor. Overall, I think the difference in skirmish units was more of a contributing factor to the end result, and the overall angle of the positioning of the armies. It just looked like Chaos Blade was more prepared, more comfortable to go for the sword dojo and just sit there and just skirmish it out. Whereas StupidBoi's preference, at least positionally, seemed to be to look for a fight in the center, which Chaos Blade didn't want to give him. Just looked like that unsettled StupidBoi a little bit because some of the attacks were premature, like the Waco Raider attack, and some units didn't really get to play a part at all, like the aforementioned Light Cav. So that's also a factor, but I think it's a combination of different things here. But this means that Chaos Blade beats StupidBoi by a score of 2-0. So obviously, congrats to Chaos, who moves on to round 3. And we just have a quick look at the stats here if anything stands out. But I suspect that there won't be any surprises. I think the Yari Ash didn't get to do too much for either player. So let's have a look here. Yari Ash 47, 29, Long Yari Ash only on 21. So these units obviously were being forced to be way more aggressive than is good for them, which kind of explains their bad performance. Lone Sword's actually quite decent, you could say. But I think I suspect that many of these kills came towards the latter stage where the game was already over. And Daikyu was 137 for Chaos, and 106 for StupidBoi. I think that was a relatively even fight. They were mostly targeting each other. But StupidBoi's Daikyu was slightly more expensive, rank 7 versus rank 6. But yeah, either way, very interesting game. I'm looking forward to seeing more of both players, both in the upper and in the lower bracket. And I'll see you in the next video, probably with some more Fall of the Samurai. Thank you for watching.